Hey guys, I'm Blind Toys and Tech. Today's video is gonna be a bit different. A bit difficult too. So, I'm gonna be talking about my cancer journey and my sleep deprivation episodes. And yeah, just those two things. So, where do I start? October 2023. I'm at my program I go to after high school. This is a extended thing for young adults. It's called the Adult Community Transition Program. It's where they teach you job sites. You go to job sites and you work like daily living skills, cooking. You work with kids. Just daily life. It's just a really fun program. I made a lot of friends. But that's not what we're talking about. So I just wanted to give you a brief description. I graduated from it last year. So what happened is nobody else noticed this except for me. But then other people started noticing that something was wrong with me. So I have what's called stage 4 metastatic sebaceous carcinoma cancer. It starts in the eye or both eyes, according to what I read. Okay. My research did say that it doesn't start in any other places in the body. It just says it starts in the eye. So I had 8 tumors, and I say had because I don't have them anymore. So they're all gone. So I'm doing pretty good, if you're asking. So like I said, this is really difficult for me to talk about, but I feel like people need to know. And no, I am not making this up. This is a true story. It's real. It actually happened. So I started noticing odd things going on. I was losing my ability to walk. I was tired a lot. My legs would give out. I was having chest pain. My allergies were pretty bad. I was out of breath a lot from walking. Even if I walked slow, I would still be breathless. I wasn't eating a lot or drinking a lot of liquids, so I was losing my appetite. I was losing weight. My body was becoming weak and I was shutting down. So, after that, after I noticed these things, I stopped going to my program and I stayed at home a lot. And it was getting worse. I was getting sick a lot. My allergies were getting worse. I stayed out of the program a lot because I was getting sick, like really sick. I felt like I was going to die. Yeah. Almost. I almost died. And I wouldn't be here if a bunch of people hadn't been praying for me, friends and family, people that I don't know. So I have to thank all the people who supported me through this journey, and they're still supporting me now. So, yeah, I was really sick. I had to get my wisdom teeth pulled. I had all 4 of them pulled at the same time. Only one was growing in, and the rest were impacted into my gums, so they had to cut my gums to get the teeth out. And they let me keep my wisdom teeth. They're just little pieces, but they let me keep them. They're all broken up because they had to cut into the gums to get them out. And yeah, I was on anesthesia, so I was fine. So after that, I noticed that my eye was hurting, and I noticed that there was a lump growing in a little bump on my eye. At first, I thought it was a stye, which is an infection in the eye. And then it turned into a cyst. And then it turned into a tumor. So, after my wisdom teeth surgery, a little bit after, I wake up at 3 in the morning and tell my mom that we need to go to the ER. And she goes, "Why?" And I said, well, the left side of my face really hurts. And my eye really hurts, and I have a horrible migraine. So we go in, they run some tests. It's just me and my mom. There's just me and my mom there. I go in, they run some tests on me, and the doctor comes in and she says, "Well, we have some pretty bad news." We go, "What is it?" And they go, And she goes, well, you might have cancer. And I broke down in tears. And my mom broke down in tears. So me and her were both crying. We spent a few hours at the hospital. I forgot the time we left. This was sometime last year. I forgot the exact date. I forgot the exact date when we went in. So after that, it's evening, and this is a different day. I had just eaten dinner, and I asked my mom if I could take my medicine. So this was the day before my eye surgery. I asked my mom if I could take my pain medicine, and she goes, no, you can't take medicine before surgery. It's a policy. So without taking my pain medicine, I go to bed, and it wasn't a good night for me. I couldn't sleep. I was having a really bad anxiety attack. I was crying on and off. So yeah, I was awake the whole night. I was tossing and turning in my bed. I had trouble moving. As in tossing and turning, I wasn't moving very well. I felt paralyzed. This was my wisdom teeth were growing in. My eye was swollen. My whole left side of my face was swollen. My neck was a little bit swollen on the left side. My ear was swelling up. My whole left ear was swelling up. Yeah, everything was swollen. So I had this horrible migraine. My head was pounding, and I couldn't sleep. So I woke up the next morning and get the surgery done. And this surgery takes about 4 hours. Took about 4 hours. They removed my eye with the tumor. It was a pretty big one. Not sure how big, they didn't say. They just said it was big. And they removed my eye. So now I have a silicone piece, which is like tinfoil. If you don't know what silicone is, it's tinfoil. There's a tinfoil ball in my eye right now. So yeah, that's what I'm going with. It feels like a normal eye too. But you can't really tell it's there because the muscles, they left the nerve endings and muscles in my eye so that So now there's skin around it. So the skin healed itself back together, and now there's skin around the silicone piece. I can kind of feel it. I just touched it. I can kind of feel it. There's skin around the silicone piece. So yeah, there's a silicone piece in my eye. I couldn't see out of it, so it was no use. Couldn't see out of my left eye, so it was really no use to me anyway. But I'm so glad that the cancer didn't spread to my right eye, because I would have had to get both eyes removed. Luckily, it was just one, and I can see out of my right eye. I can see out of my right eye. I can see like light and colors and stuff. Not really anymore though. I can see light, but not colors. I can't differentiate colors anymore because that tumor strained so much, like all the swelling and stuff was so much pressure. It pulled the ability to differentiate colors. It pulled the vision out of that eye. It pulled it out. So now I can't see colors. They're just little flashes of light now. So I can't identify colors anymore because of that, what happened. So after that, I what happened after that? Oh. After the eye surgery, I had a port surgery. So the port is in place of an IV. They give you a port. This one was a minor surgery, so it only took about an hour or two. Most surgeries are 2 hours or 1 hour. The port was in place of an IV, so yay, no more IV. And my veins are tiny, so the doctors and nurses have a really hard time. Because I weighed 1 pound 3 ounces when I was little, so I was born premature, so I have really tiny veins, so they have a lot of trouble finding veins. So that's another reason they put the port in. It only hurt. After they did the surgery, the port was hurting. It only lasted 1 day. The pain lasted 1 day. So, yeah. The pain lasted 1 day, so I was doing pretty good after that. So, the tumors. What can I say about my tumors? I had 8 of them, all at one time. 2 in my liver, 2 in my chest, 1 on the left side of my neck, 1 above my earlobe, the spot between the upper part of the ear and the lower part of the ear, there was 1 there. 1 in my left eye, and one in my left nasal cavity. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So after my eye got removed, my other tumors started growing faster. The other 7 tumors started growing faster. So we knew something was terribly wrong. So I'm trying to remember everything that happened. This is a lot to talk about. So after the eye surgery, my tumors started growing faster. The other ones, after I got my eye removed, they started growing faster. And that's when my body started shutting down. Like I said in the beginning. Yeah, I was doing pretty good until we noticed my tumors growing faster. Yeah, after my eye surgery, I was good for a few days, but then the cancer was spreading. And that's when we knew that something was off. So I start doing radiation, which lasted for a week. This was after Christmas in December. Yeah, this was after Christmas in December. I started the radiation treatment. That went pretty good. It's kind of like getting an x-ray, but it's a little different. You're just laying on your back. Yeah, I just lay on my back and then the cameras just scan me and it's completely painless. It doesn't hurt at all. I had an MRI done, which if you it sounds like a rave. An MRI sounds like a rave. So luckily I have autism, mild autism. So I don't like very loud noises. And the MRI machine is very loud. So I wore earplugs and I was wearing headphones over my ears and listening to classical music. And surprisingly, they said that I was the first patient that ever was... They said I was the first patient that was pretty good with the MRI machine. Yeah, I did pretty good with the MRI. And I had one done twice. Just to check my body for more cancer spots. I also had a CT scan, a few CT scans done, which are kind of like radiation treatments, but yeah, you're still getting scanned by the machine, but you have to drink a liquid, and the liquid will show all the spots that might be cancerous. So it's a thick liquid, it's called contrast, so it will show all the cancerous spots. In my body. So, and I have to drink 2 of them. Sometimes I don't have to do it. Sometimes they'll inject me with contrast. Instead of having me drink the liquid. So, after my radiation, I start doing immunotherapy. And no, it's not like chemo at all. Chemotherapy kills the good and the bad cells. And immunotherapy only kills the bad cells. There's the difference. If you guys don't really understand what I'm talking about, you can always look it up and read about it. And I'm not doing chemo for certain reasons. Immunotherapy and radiation, the radiation treatment made me really tired, so I would be fatigued and nauseous every time after the treatment. And it only lasted for a week. So when I had new spots, which I did, 2 new ones, they were little ones though, not big ones. I had to do radiation again for a week. And my immunotherapy treatments are every 3 weeks. So every 3 weeks I'll go in and get a treatment done. So and now I'm going to talk about my sleep deprivation episode. This lasted for 6 days. So if you want to know, if you want to know how my treatments are going, they're going really good. I'm walking pretty well, still getting tired, still out of breath, but I'm walking pretty well now. Got my energy back, I'm eating a lot better. Actually, I changed my whole diet, so I'm not eating any sugar. Well, it's occasionally I'll eat something with sugar, but it's not very often that I eat sugar. Sugar feeds cancer. So, that's what I learned. I don't eat or drink anything with dyes or toxins in it. So nothing processed. I don't eat anything processed. And I don't drink anything processed. So it's all horrible, by the way, for your body. So if you guys I would consider going on a more healthy diet. Not saying you have to, but it's just recommended. If you don't want to, then that's fine. But I'm just saying, if you want to keep your body healthy, then eat healthy. Toxins and chemicals and dyes are really horrible for your body. They're just horrible. They make you sick. Some of them, anyway. They can make you sick. So, yeah, So, if you want to keep your body healthy, eat healthy. That's just all I'm recommending and suggesting. So, anyway, sleep deprivation. This was pretty bad. I felt like I had an alter ego. I felt like I was in someone else's body that wasn't my own. I started hallucinating. Most of them were good, but I did have a few nightmares. This lasted for 6 days. Yes, almost a week. So, I started hallucinating. I started seeing things after a few days. And then I started hearing voices. But not just any voices. They were telling me to hurt my family, to jump out of a window, to stab myself, to jump off a cliff. So there was a lot of things that they said, and I thought there was 2, but then they merged into 1. And my mom, I would get into fights with her. I scratched her. No, she wasn't bleeding, so she was fine. She wasn't bleeding, but I scratched her. This was an outer body experience. I felt like I was a completely different person. I felt like I felt like I had a split personality moment. And no, I'm not bipolar, but seriously, I felt like I was. Those 6 days, and I still have sleep issues now, but I don't have sleep deprivation anymore. But guys, yeah, committing suicide, please don't do it. Please don't. Those voices were telling me to basically commit suicide. And my mother was involved, and my brother, it was telling me to hurt them. And it said, if you don't hurt them, I'll hurt you. Or something like that. But nothing happened to me. But I had this really bad hallucination. Like, I was really good, doing really good. I was laying in bed with my cat and snuggling with her. And then I close my eyes and try to sleep. And I see myself bound and gagged in a hospital bed. Like, what? What? Like, how do you get... Like, most of the hallucinations were good, positive. But then they started getting worse. And that's the only bad one that I saw. And I did have a nightmare where I fell off of a cliff, screaming. But before I could reach the sharp rocks at the bottom, I woke up. So yeah, that was pretty traumatic. It was a very traumatizing experience. It was bad. So please don't commit suicide. If you guys have experience with hearing voices in your head, don't listen to them unless they're positive. And I forget what this is called. There's a name for it, but my mom... There's a name for it. It's where you hear voices in your head and they tell you to do bad stuff. My mom actually did an experiment on it. So she was at work and they had to wear headphones that with the voice talking inside of the headphones to see what it was like for people that went through it. And she was so traumatized, she didn't go back to work for a while. And this was a long time ago. But yeah, she was so traumatized, she didn't go to work for a while. And with me, since I'm blind, my senses are heightened. So I can clearly hear things in my head. And those voices were clear as day. As if someone were sitting right next to me and telling me to do these things. But I didn't listen, which made the hallucinations worse, which made my sleep deprivation worse because I didn't listen to the voices. Yeah, about my mom, she's fine. She's doing okay. Yeah, I did scratch her. I was hitting her. And she was hitting me. So we were yelling back and forth. We would get into verbal fights. At least it didn't get physical, but it could have. And there were some things that I heard her say that she said that I was hallucinating, but it was coming out of her. One of the things she said was, "Just kill me already." And another thing she said was, "I'm leaving and I'm leaving and I don't want anything to do with you." Yeah, that was pretty harsh. I could never imagine my mom saying stuff like that, but she did. And so eventually, on the last day of this, I called suicide hotline and I talked to someone about everything that happened. And I told the lady what my mom said and what I said. And I said some things that I shouldn't have said, too. I forgot what I said, but they weren't really nice things. And my mom didn't say really nice things either. So I talked to the suicide hotline person about everything that happened, and I'm crying on the phone the whole time. Most of the time. And my mom is crying. She's holding my hand. She's sitting next to me and she's apologizing profusely, like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Like, all she could say was, "I'm sorry." So we both felt bad for all of those hurtful things we said to each other. So I hope it never happens again. And if it does, well then, I'll be prepared. I almost went to the hospital because felt like I was going crazy. I was yelling at the voices and telling them to leave me alone and get out of my life and not to talk to me. But in return, I got cursed out. I was told to do horrible things to my family.